Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Waffles RC. It's been a while, hasn't it? So I will say last weekend when I was supposed to be filming, my head just wasn't in it, to say the very least. So sometimes, and this goes for everybody, but sometimes you just got to take a step back and either take a break, go out and actually play with these things, instead of just building them, even though all my videos only do good about building, but beside the point. So the only thing I got done last weekend, because it took me forever to get my brain to actually, turn on, was on the Impala. So I didn't film any of it, but there's a front bumper. And of course, I painted it chrome. I mean, it's a classic car. It's got to have chrome bumpers. So just made a flat bumper, put a little bar on there, give it a little off-road flair. And you may be noticing the winch line and the fair lead. There is a winch in this thing. It is tucked. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it, I think. I'll find out when I edit. But the winch is tucked up back in there, mounted onto the frame, so the body is still removable. Then I also put this rear bumper on. No, I did not make this. I've had this bumper for about 2 years now, and I haven't found anything that it fits on. I don't even remember what it's supposed to go to, but it fit perfectly on this. So now we got a little bit of corner protection. Our gas tanks have some protection. Gas cans, sorry. That is the Impala all finished up. But we're not here for the Impala. And actually, speaking of the Impala, we've been working on training with my dog, and we needed a distraction. Well, I'm not a good enough distraction for him anymore. That's right. I used the Impala as a distraction for his training. And it worked out quite well because he was somewhat distracted, but as you saw in that clip, he still went back to full send. So there we go. See, they're not just toys. They are useful implements for dog training. There you go. The more you know. So what are we working on? Well, depending on what I did as the thumbnail, this. According to the file, it is a Ford B250. As you can see, it's the Ford version of a Suburban. As you can also see, there's some of it missing. That's because this is the first body that I tried printing with my 3D printer. Because you print the little boat thing, whatever it's called. You print that and then immediately jump into a 10 scale body. But the issue I was having was this whole roof portion, I could not get it to print correctly. I tried just this rear portion probably 7 or 8 times until I just decided, no, we're not going to. And it printed perfectly. Because of this part missing, you may be wondering what I'm going to do with this. Well, obviously we're going to turn it into a crawler. But it has been a while and I have the itch. Exocage. In today's video, we are going to work on an exocage for this thing. And eventually we'll get to the frame part, but I feel like doing an exocage. So you guys are just going to have to watch me build an exocage, which is probably why you clicked on this video. Anyhow, so the first few things you're going to need for building an exocage for your RC crawler is, number one, a body. Now, I know there's a lot better people out there that show how to build exocages out of titanium and brake lines. I don't have that kind of money or patience or equipment. So what do I use? Well, because I don't care about weight, 3/16 solid steel. In comparison to the vehicle, it looks proper, like it would be a proper roll cage. So that's why I go with this stuff. I'll put millimeters right here for anybody that works on the metric system. We have our stick. We have our car. Now it's just time to bend stuff and hope it all, comes out pretty decent. So also, if you are new to the channel, this is not my first time doing tube cage. We have our tube buggy, and I have my rock crawling Escalade with adjustable suspension that has an exo cage on it as well. But the difference that I want to do with the Ford versus these two is that exo cage was my first hand about 2 years ago of doing an exo cage. There was actually a video for it. If you scroll way back, there's a video for that. That I was pretty happy with. Not a fan of the proportions, but that was my own fault. It still does really well. I love driving that thing. But this one, I want it to look good and make it a little bit easier, unlike that truck, to get the body on and off to, you know, work on it. Shocker. So, since I've done this before, the way that I'm going to try it this time is I'm going to start by making our top main bar. Instead of a main bar going across, I'm going to do the top first and then start building from there. To start, body, bar. Now, do I know exactly what I'm doing? No. Am I pretty good at guessing? Sometimes. What I'm going to try to do is just make a U shape, basically following the side of the roof along the windshield, which that's going to be the hardest one for me, and then back along. So let's hope that it goes as I plan. And as most people would say, and just like that, you now have the beginning of your exo cage. But let's be real here. This is not as simple as it looks. It takes a lot of measuring, or in my case, a lot of guessing, where you need to put the bends, where you want to put the bends, how does it all fit, and then hoping that it does when you're all done with it at the end. The other trick that I'm fighting here is that I do want to make an exo cage on this body. I still need to paint this body. So I need to make this thing in such a way that it can come off of this truck somehow. It's called a guessing game. But for reference, we'll go to a time lapse right now so that you guys can get a better understanding of what it actually looks like when you're trying to bend all these tubes and everything, because, well, it's not as simple as, oh, just bend the tubes. And once again, there are a lot better people out there that do this with measurements, tape measures, or micrometers, angle finders, fancy tools. I have this and a vise and these. That's all I'm using. I'm guessing how to do all this. I have no like master plan in my head. I want exo cage, I make exo cage. That's my thought process. I'm going to make the bar that runs along the side of the truck and try to do two of them so that they match side to side. Here's our sidebars or scrub guards, or just there's some bars done in the shape of that truck right over there. Admittedly, are they exactly the same? No. Not even by a long, well, they're pretty close, honestly. Like, I'm giving myself some credit. They're not bad. Better than I've done in the past. But that just goes to show, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll become at it. So now, the real fun part. I have to put this on top of the truck. I want to make a main hoop that goes, or why am I just doing it with just this? Truck. Okay. So now what I need to do is make a main hoop, another main hoop. I need to make a hoop that goes from these side rails to this top rail. And I need it to go somewhat aligned with the body and go down onto the side rails, weld those together, and then that's the beginning of the roll cage. Of course it's the beginning of the roll cage, that's what we're making. Anyhow, let me figure out how to do that. It's just going to be bend it, connect it, weld it. Well, to say that that was interesting to weld on there would be a bit of an understatement, but it's welded together. There is the skeleton to the truck. I also had to pause for a moment because that came unglued. So it's glued and being temporarily held until it dries. It would probably help also if I used the correct glue, which I'm not. But that's what body filler is for, and I have plans to try and strengthen the body connection parts. I got plans, don't worry about it. Obviously, we are a bit floppy on this side because, well, the back's connected. So now what I'm going to do is a bar from right here. I'm going to do a bar from right here, go over the cowl and down to the other side that you can't see to connect everything together. So that way it's not quite as floppy. And there you have it. It is now all connected together. And if you're wondering how I've been welding and not completely melting the truck, for the most part, it just slides right out. So now that I have the main structure done, now it's time to just add bars to add bars. Try and make it look a little bit cooler and, you know, functional, because in real roll cage world, that big of a gap right in here, that's not going to support anything. Going to add some bars in here, add some bars in there, maybe some there. I can't add any to the back until this is all completely done, which I'm still trying to figure that part out. I'll figure it out eventually. But that is a problem for future Mike. Right now, Mike just needs to add a bunch of bars and call it good. As you can tell, it's quite a bit later. One of the good things about an exo cage is you do it how you want to do it. I'm gonna get copyright from a motorcycle playing music 2 miles away. So, when it comes to an exo cage, you do whatever you want. You can add more bars, you can add less bars. Me, I like to add more. Okay, so as you can see, we have that. But then, Somebody may have gotten a little bit crazy. I think it looks really cool. Once it's all painted and everything, worst come to worst, I'll cut it out. Like, it's metal. Who cares? We got the top all braced up. She's got a good amount of weight behind her. Now, is this going to make this truck top heavy? Yes. But I did learn, because I also forgot that I have another vehicle that's exo-caged, my Jeep. I learned that I added too much bar work in the back. So that thing's really back heavy, so it doesn't like going up hills. This is because, well, it's awesome, and more weight in the front. See? It's going to be a competition crawler. Pretty sure this is heavier than that Volvo already. Now I've got it to the point where I'm still able to remove the body. But now I'm at the point of doing the back. So I need to experiment and see if I can get this cage off without sliding it anywhere. No. That's the quick answer, is no. So I may have buggered myself here, because I want stuff on the back. But I need to be able to get the body out to paint it. And to paint the cage. You see, with some effort, it slides out. But hey, here's a B250 exo cage. And yes, it is overkill for an RC car. But most exo cages on one-to-one trucks are overkill as well. So, scale points. You guys know. How can I do this? That needs to sit there, but I want stuff to come down there. Or do I try and get fancy? No, because that still has to come up. You know, past mic really did make this hard for current mic. Let me think about this for a minute. All right, had a plan. I figured it out. There we go. I'm sure this is really hard to see on camera, but I just did some down tubes coming down, going down to here. So the body still slides in and out of here. I will have to figure out a rear bumper. I think I'm most likely going to do something with that on the frame. Yeah, I need to get the body in after I paint it. Once the body's in after I paint it, this is going to stay on the body and just come on and off with the body. Insert our body. Maybe. There we go. So once it's all assembled, this is how this is going to be. I may do something off of the frame, or I'm going to do something. Now I'm sure some of you have noticed the bars go way over the frame rails and the back quarters, and same with the fronts. Well, that's because I'm cutting them out. One issue with these 3D printed models is they are not RC cars. So, because of that, the wheel wells are not designed for rather large tires. So I'm going to be cutting all that out. That's why I did the bars like that, front and rear. That's all the stuff that I want to cut out, make room for our wheels and tires, which I don't have because I haven't picked them yet. So that's going to be it for this week. Thank you all for joining. This is how to do an exo cage. It wasn't very instructional. If you use a tape measure and a micrometer and all that stuff, you can get this really, really well. Oh, heads up also, 3D printed bodies, especially PLA, they don't like heat. I only melted one spot, but we're going to call that a factory defect from Ford. Don't come after me, Ford. This channel's not big enough to worry about that. Anyhow, Lexan bodies like it even less. So to be careful when welding an exo cage onto any type of RC car, use caution. Use whatever you have to try and protect the body. The reason why the Cadillacs exo cage doesn't look that great, it's because that is a Lexan body. So you're able to get a lot closer with a 3D printed body with a cage than you are with a Lexan body, but you can do it. I've done it. Just takes time and caution. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for subscribing. If you would like to help support the channel, there's that website that you can go to. It's on Etsy. It's merch. I do have merch. Please go buy some because it does help build more of these cars. But if you can't, totally get it. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. That truly helps more than you know. It helps the lovely algorithms. We'll do all the normal frame stuff. You guys have seen it a bunch of times, but for the new people, you'll see how I make frames. So thank you all, and we will see you all next week.